In a world where the Phoenix Suns have Kevin Durant, PHNX Rising has our boy Mo Traore. Welcome to the PHNX Rising Podcast.
That's really the way you chose to. Like, we're going to get into Mo Traore in a bit, but he immediately goes off the bat with Kevin Durant.
Listen,
let's be realistic.
We got to play the SEO, baby. Listen, it's what's topical, it's what's new, it's what's trending. Come on. But hey, ignoring
Max,
this.
SEO can't hear into the shows.
Yeah, but I can translate as best I can. This is already off the rails. Per usual, welcome into the PHNX Rising Podcast again, guys. I am, of course, Mr. Max Simpson. I'm joined by my counterpart in the flesh, not over a virtual screen in Mexico, but he's here, back in the States, Mr. Owain Evans. How are you, sir?
I did very happist to everyone except Max. Yeah, it's... Yeah, no, it's been a week, quite a long week since the last time that we sat down. Not here, but, well, you were here, yes. I was in Mexico, and a lot has happened since then. So we're going to have quite a bit to really dive into today to get through.
We're excited. Well, we appreciate everyone joining us on a Wednesday. I know we're usually going on the Tuesday, but, one of us, we're not pointing fingers, had to reschedule. Okay, that was
Why
actually...
Why are you pointing fingers at me for?
That's on me. Happy... Ooh, well, we're already getting with Devin, Mr. Happy St. David Day. I absolutely love it. I know this guy's got it towards the end, but hey, appreciate you guys joining us. Got a lot to cover today, both in Mexico and what's on the horizon for PHNX Rising. First, I know we talked about it a bit on last week's show when you were there for really the first half, but catch us up on what we missed in Mexico. You went a lot of places, and kind of now that you're here, you're tired, but you're here. How was the experience?
Yeah, a lot of things happened since the last time we were on. Of course, the last time we were on Rising, we were expecting to see him play against the Pumas under 20s on that Wednesday, and then all of a sudden, no, they're playing up at the Estadio, well, what used to be the Estadio Azul against Atlante instead, which much better test for them, really. You're playing a team who have won the tournament, the Apertura tournament in Liga de Expansión, twice in a row now? So much more challenging opponent than Pumas under 20s, but Yeah, so there was that. Then they played against Pumas Tabasco, and, well, everything that happened in that game happened in a spell of about 5 minutes. But, yeah. And then beyond that, there was even more. I mean, I know I'd spoken about it before. The team wanted to go out and catch a game at Azteca. That did indeed happen. Also got to go along to that. Cruz Azul against Atlas. That was quite a game. And then, a lot of things down there. And then they get back here, as suddenly Mo Traore's announced.
Yeah.
So, busy week.
Well, want to get into a bit about, Rising's performance in some of those latter scrimmages, those matches. But I guess on your time in Mexico, anything to shout out? Any specific, restaurants you enjoyed, or anything that if I'm a tourist,
I had
we gotta
a lot
go.
of time outside of the hotel.
Listen, you gotta eat. You gotta eat, my guy.
You gotta eat. Yeah, I know. When you got like an hour between doing things,
What'd you do in
there
your
was
hour?
no one nearby. You just eat in the hotel. I could have gone out to that authentic. Where was there within walking distance? I think there was a Chili's. Like,
it's an authentic cuisine.
Well, there was not exactly much option. You had to commit if you were going to go out and actually do something, given where we were located. And to be honest, the time just wasn't there. So, I mean...
All right, well, excuse me for asking a question, trying to take an interest, but all right, that is good to know that you're just plugging yourself, humble brag, with all of the work there. Well, then let's segue right into how the teams did, again, in those tune-up matches. What were the takeaways? What is something that did it differ than some of the earlier games they've played in the preseason? Is there natural progression? Is there still a lot that you think are glaring needs? Tell us. Let us know.
Yeah, I think that there are some elements that definitely still need a little bit of thought about. I mean, look, the main thing that happened down there is people were improving their fitness. Beyond that as well, you just have to bear in mind, I know people will look at some of the results and be, but they had some injury issues. I mean, Rising was struggling. There's a reason that Liam Mullins was playing as a wing back in the start of that game against Atlante, and that's because that's where they were. All the jokes, right?
Yeah.
People love a good joke about how many wing backs do we need? Well, this last week actually showed that, to be fair, Yeah, they kind of need them. They need him because they had some injury issues there. And even some of the guys that weren't injured, you've got people like Channing Cheston. You're restricting the minutes because they're coming back from a major injury last year that sidelined them for a long time. And so you want to be cautious. You don't want to push them too much. Look, I feel as though the biggest question I have more than anything right now is, and it remains on, I think, the goal scoring end of things, perhaps. Look, I think that Manuel Arteaga had some pretty good stretches of play down there.
Yeah.
I think in that first game against Atlanta, he was pretty pivotal at times. And I think that what we saw from him was actually someone who has the ability to be quite a physical player. Maybe, I kind of want to use the term lump, but I don't want to use it because that's not really what he is. He has the technical ability as well. With the ball at his feet, he's able to do a lot, but he doesn't shy away from the physical challenges. He's happy to get stuck in, and I think that's good. I think that, look, in that game against Atlanta, the attack effectively ran through him if it wasn't going out wide. So I think that's good, but my question around him still remains perhaps with the goal scoring and the consistent goal scoring. And so then it falls down to guys like Danny Trejo. Well, Trejo is currently coming back. He was injured earlier in preseason. He's got some minutes these last few games, yes, but he did miss a couple of chances that maybe if he was fit, he'd have scored. But I just wonder if that's kind of thing. There's a lot around this team. There's a lot of talent, and a lot of talent in the build-up there. But that's the one question I want to see. Now, it's not necessarily, I don't think there's any reason for alarm bells. I don't think that it's necessarily going to not turn out well. I think Trejo, when he gets off and running, will score a fair few. And Arteaga has scored a few goals this preseason, so maybe we're going to see that turn around. And you could also argue, of course, that PHNX Rising probably should have scored a couple of goals against Pumas Tabasco in the second friendly. But I'm really not quite certain. Is the thing. It's not an alarm bells. It's let's be cautious and not go overboard either way.
If you're kind of basing these last couple performances, and I guess if you look at the preseason as a whole, if you're like on a panic meter where 1 is we got nothing to worry about, 10 is I'm smashing the brake in case of emergency glass. Sounds like, is it fair to say you're maybe at like a 4 or 5, 6?
I'd probably say a 3 to 4, not even a 4 to 5.
Okay, making sure. Okay.
I think it's mild. I think there's a lot of talent there, and again, it's hard sometimes to say this because we saw there was talent last year. We were so big on the fact that, look, some of the players that were there last year, they were good players. They should have been doing a lot better than they did. And so it's hard to just say, well, there's good players, therefore things should be fine. But I think that to me, as a whole, I'm reasonably positive. And I think I'm reasonably positive coming off the week as a whole. It's not just the games. I think even just being around the training, right? The laughter on the training ground, always a good thing to see. I think that last year couldn't have been much more different than last year. Last year, there were times when it was just very difficult to be around them. It was not the best of atmospheres there. And I mean, I'm not going to pinpoint the blame on any one individual or any one particular cause for why that was. I mean, when you're having a struggle of a season, it's always going to be that little bit difficult. But I feel as though it's just quite a bit there to, it's a good base. It's a good base. A great base to have people all in a good mood, all around each other, all week pretty much. A lot of team building exercises, all the stuff like that. And yet at the same time, you would see Juan pull the team in and have them in a huddle, and he would be reminding them what they are there fighting for, who, the fact that they're out there to represent the crest that's on their chest, and that they've got to remember that. They've got to remember who they're there for, who they're representing, and those moments of seriousness that did appear to be taken seriously. And so if you can get those two things right, I think you've got the basis of something very, very good. You've got a group that are happy to be coming to work, that are enjoying what they're doing, and they get on well with each other while not losing sight of the ultimate goal. And I personally feel as though I did see a good amount of that over the course of the week.
I think it's something that we keep on talking about is with these early preseason games, with all this experience going on, you have to take everything that's going on, the good and the bad, with a grain of salt. And even the happy mood, I would say, it's an amazing thing. You also have to think, it's preseason, it's much lower stakes. These are when, see if this attitude is still here if it's June, July, August, and it's a much tougher stretch when you're in the season. But I will say, when you're going down, especially on an international trip like this, where there's a lot of new faces, like we talked about, and to be able to bring that continuity of, hey, we are going to grow as a team, we're going to grow as a club, on the pitch, off the pitch, that is contagious. And if you're able to strike that early on, that really does do a world of difference. And you'll be a bit more equipped to face that adversity when things get tough. You do have that backing. I mean, listen, it's a lot of the stuff that it's not the X's and O's that maybe people look for, and I get some people might blow that off, but I think that is an incredibly valuable component, that you're getting real experience against bona fide, genuine teams in a professional league, and I think that's incredibly exciting. Even if, yes, some of them are, in the lower tier, that's still something where you're going up against app competition, and if you're able to build that camaraderie with your teammates in a at best neutral environment, but realistically probably in some cases perhaps a hostile environment, it's that does a world of good. It really does.
Yeah, one thing there, Michael's comment that's just been popped up there by our producer Sean, they're saying about Juan doesn't have to force positivity. I'll ignore the rest of it. So yeah, I mean, you just look at what Juan's like to be around on the training ground. I mean, when we were out there at the training ground when they were training in Mexico City, you'd see that, and I'm sure many of you have seen from the pictures that have been posted, that Juan just get stuck in, right? Yeah. Like, the boys are out there playing whatever the games are they're doing to loosen up, trying to keep the ball up, trying to keep the ball away from each other, whatever it may be. And you see that the head coach is out there running around, getting stuck in, taking part in them himself with a massive grin on his face.
I love that.
And it's just, how can you not want to be around that? How can you not want to be getting stuck in there when your boss is out there getting stuck in and having a great time? It's just a fun environment to be around. And you can tell that they're enjoying it as a whole. So look, I mean, to an extent, this is the easy part. It gets harder when you get into the season, and yes, you've got the adversities you're saying kind of the other teams. You've also got that little bit of a challenge yourself of working out internally how things are once you start to settle into what is realistically a starting group that's going to be a lot more separate, and other people who are playing catch up. And sometimes you'll find that people are a little bit slighted by that. I mean, one thing that's inevitably going to be important, as we've noted throughout the preseason, and I mean, we can get into it in a minute, but the goalkeeper race of like who's going to play, because that one especially is typically with a goalkeeper, you're playing or you're not. There is no middle ground. There is no. I mean, Patrick Rakowski said it himself. I mean, there is no, well, I'm the second best on the team, but I'll still get playing time. No, if you're the goalkeeper, you're the backup, you're probably not playing very much. So it's a lot of those kind of things. Those challenges are going to be what's hard in the coming weeks. And I'm intrigued to see how the team responds to that. I'm intrigued to see how resilient they are against that with the atmosphere that's been cultivated within the team so far. But it's a challenge. And look, Juan didn't face that challenge here in Phoenix last year because he inherited this team halfway through the season when they were already at their lowest. Well, this year now, he's had the chance to completely rebuild this team. He's had a full off season to do it, something he didn't really have in Oakland. It was very kind of quick, kind of straight in there, straight, got to get your guys in quickly because there's not much time. He came in around the festive period, so really not that much time. But this is a challenge now. He's had the full off season to build the team exactly as he likes, and now he's got to make sure that they are ready for it, not just physically but mentally.
No, very true. And, speaking of Patrick, it's cool. You actually did a piece on him on gophnx.com. You did a piece on a couple of players and profiles with them.
Still a couple more that are going to come.
Still a couple more to come, a couple takeaways from the preseason, everything like that. But it's very interesting how you are balancing, the team is balancing the positivity that comes from everything going on, from this new regime, this new culture change. Also with, well, everything's all positive, but I'm still fine for playoff time. And that's something I know you mentioned Patrick. He noted in the piece with him that, hey, you're right. There is no, I'm second choice goalkeeper and I play a few games. It's like, no, people are hungry. Yes, they want to build team camaraderie, but they also want to make a name for themselves. And it's interesting because in the article that you wrote of him, title as it is Patrick Rakowski, Rising Aim is more than just making playoffs. And this actually gives us a good chance to kind of reflect, because last month, around the first of the month, last time, I asked you, where do you think Rising is going to finish in the table based on what we know, based on what we've seen, the signings, everything like that? Now we actually have a bit more proof to showcase, hey, how the team is going, how it's progressing, where's the deficiencies, all that stuff. If I recall correctly, and we will need to get this on a graphic and writing at some point, but I believe you mentioned, I think you said either third or fourth. I believe I said fifth. That's where they're finishing the table. Going off what you've seen, where do you think they stand?
I'm still saying probably around about fourth.
Okay.
I think that, look, what we're going to do, I'd imagine both of us are going to say it's going to be in that same area, that fourth or fifth.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're kind of relatively comfortable. And we're quite in the, look, I'm going to be honest, our views on that are quite in the mainstream. You see a lot of pundits talking about it, and it's very similar. It's all Rising going to be right around that kind of area, fourth or fifth this year with the team that they've got. I think that we will know or have a much better picture of which side of that home playoff line they're going to finish after, I would say, the end of April.
Yep.
I think 2 months of gameplay. So about 2 months from now, we will have, I think, be able to give you a much more solid prediction as to quite which side of that line they should finish. But I do think it's going to be somewhere in that vicinity. I mean, it's possible they're fighting right at the very top, but for me, I think a third place finish in the West would be a pretty decent return this year. I think that's a very good thing to aim for. And of course, you want to aim higher up. But yeah, I think that this... Look, and I mean, Pat says they're contender next year with another in players, but at the same time, you get to the playoffs. This league's all about just get to the playoffs. Get to the playoffs, and it's Orange County were not the best team, and they won it. Not by a long way. San Antonio probably were last year, although they did, of course, lose both games to PHNX Rising. But Orange County definitely weren't. Yeah. You don't have to be a very good team. You have to be hot at the right time.
You just got to get in.
You get in and you've got to be on a good run of form at the time that you're in. Possibly quite solid defensively, which actually I don't think this team is that bad defensively. I really don't. Michael, they're saying Fede Varela for MVP. We'll see on that one. We'll see.
Well, all right. So you're keeping with pretty much your same. I said fifth last time. I'm tempted to say fourth, but I'm gonna keep fifth. I want to see some games in regular season.
You haven't seen any of the preseason games, Max, have you?
Okay, well, I want to see. I've seen what I've seen. I'm just saying, I want to see some actual regular season minutes. Ask me again in April, but no, man, it's awesome. There's a lot going on with the team. It's an exciting time, and we just got to keep watching, seeing what's going on. But speaking of things going on, I did mention last week that we do have a exciting announcement, and you guys, you might have heard some rumblings, might have been here, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's cool because I personally love doing this where we get to welcome someone new into the PHNX Rising family. And if you don't know, well, then now you know, baby. We're with the one, the only Circle freaking K. Let's go. We got a whole snack cart, everything like that with us. Look at that. That is nice product placement there. Got chips, snacks, everything like that. I'm actually going to take. You want anything? my guy?
I'm good. I'll give it a miss.
Some orange slices, please, for the snacking. But we love Circle K. Just launched our partnership with them today. Have a lot of amazing stuff going on. Producer Sean's getting a little something for kettle cooked chips, sea salt, and cracked pepper. People sleep on the Circle K brand. That stuff is absolutely delicious. But love what we're doing with them. We are going to be doing a ton of free giveaways with them, all kinds of freebies, stuff like that, tons of different promotions. And the great thing is we are so excited to partner with them and launch with them. Kicking things off, we're teaming up for an awesome giveaway. See on the screen right there, you text PHNX to 31310 for an opportunity to win a $500 gas card. Gas ain't cheap, folks, but when Circle K gives away some free gas card, fuel card stuff, makes it freaking happen. So, hey, enter in, text PHNX to 31310 for your chance to win. See the show notes for details. We're going to make it happen. And while you're at Circle K, you are able to, buy certain beers, certain Four Peaks beers, that is. A little ASMR for you. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
I'm drinking a little Sun's Brew myself. Gotta support
classic Wow here.
Oh, no, not my classic Wow, a little Kolsch style. Gotta support the Suns and KD because no one else is gonna do it, so we gotta do it. But hey, Friends of Four Peaks got a lot of great stuff going on. Mr. Petey from the Coyotes Show is looking at our Circle K stuff as well. But hey, come on out to Four Peaks. They're going to be out at the M3F Festival this weekend, March 3rd and 4th. Grab your tickets at m3fest.com. Enjoy a Wowee beer while you're there. And of course, you must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. Appreciate our friends at Circle K. Appreciate our friends at Four Peaks. Let's freaking go. Speaking of let's freaking go, man, we got an upcoming scrimmage against GCU.
Last friendly of the preseason.
Yeah, it's open.
It is
freaking
open.
It's
10 a.m. on Saturday.
Burr.
If you are awake at 10 a.m. on Saturday, get yourself over to GCU. PHNX Rising will be playing their final preseason friendly there. Not quite sure what to expect out of this one. You never really know. I mean, look, when you're playing an inferior opposition in the way that GCU are, and they just are, right? If you're a professional team, you're taking on a college team like that, they're an inferior opposition. Often you see it's about fitness. I'm not sure. I mean, the way that Rising are looking at this, look, I spoke with Wangera earlier. What he said about it at the time was, look, we've got to treat this like a game week. We've got to take it that way because next week's a short week. The trip out east makes it a short week because they've got to fly on Thursday because it's such a pain to get over to Charleston as some of the others of us have discovered. It's not easy to get to Charleston.
This man's already planning travel excursions as we speak for Charleston. He's already trying to figure it out.
yeah, looking up stuff. It's like, oh boy, what do they have in the South except plantations? But apparently you Google it and it's like, that's all that comes up. Great. Genuinely, I was having this conversation the other day. But look, they're taking it as though this week is a game week. It's a standard game week, not just preseason. They're getting towards the point now of you've got to take it seriously because again, in just over a week's time, you're flying out to your first away game of the year. And look, there's a few guys I think are going to be borderline as to how fit they are when the time comes around. I feel as though you're going to be looking at alligators there for Charleston. But Danny Trejo. How many minutes are we going to see out of him? He got his first minutes of the preseason against Atlante. How many minutes are we going to see out of him against GCU? Not really sure. What else have we got? We're probably going to have to see Babacar Jai. Haven't really seen him for a while. Uzo, haven't seen him for a while. Eddie Manjoma, another guy who is relatively highly rated coming in. What are we going to see out of him? Some of the guys who weren't able to make the trip to Mexico City. You've got guys like Darnell King. You've got guys like... who else have you got there? Jose Andres Hernandez didn't make the trip. Niall Dunn didn't make the trip. Yeah.
Well, this is kind of the interesting conversation, right? Because how you want to balance solidifying your core, and we're not saying that everyone who went to Mexico, who were in the featured in the preseason, is the starting 11, is in that core. At the same time, and you want to build up that, really solidify those guys who are your starters, build in that chemistry. At the same time, you do want to bring in those players who didn't get that fair share during the preseason. How do you balance that, especially this late in the game? We understand there's training, there's other things like that. But how do you replicate that in-game action with all these new players still coming in?
That's the difficulty, isn't it? I will actually address one thing here in the chat here where Pat Moses is asking if there's any news on Niall Dunn. Look, it was just short term. Nothing to worry about. He should be back all fine. Just end up staying back in Phoenix when they made the trip down there again. It's short-term stuff. It's nothing of any note to worry about. He has played previously in preseason games this year, so that's good. Good to see that he actually has gotten a little bit of game time out there. But yeah. So there's nothing really to worry about there. But look, when you're talking about this team, there's a whole new team. It's taking time and it's hard. Like, this fitness and its chemistry is all it is at this point, really. I think there's not much more you can do. They've had a lot of the tactical side of things. They handled some of that in Mexico City. They've handled that in some of their other games as well. They've been able to try things out. I know, of course, that Pumas Tabasco game was big on just facing an opponent that is going to press you, especially when you're quite fatigued, and that team were. Like, it'd been a long week in Mexico City at the altitude. And Pumas Tabasco come out pressing against them, and it's a lot of the prep work they've been doing of just making sure that, look, they They were making sure they would be able to play out of the back.
Yeah.
And they were able to find their way out of there. Wasn't necessarily their best performance at doing so, but they got better as the game went on. They found ways to realize that, look, if you got the press coming in, they're under pressure, they're going to have to go a little bit longer, but with purpose. You know, you can't call it direct football in the pejorative sense of calling it direct football, because it's purposeful. It's not just hoofing it forward. There's an aim to what they're doing. You know, when you look at all of that, I feel as though a lot of that is coming down, and now it is just, again, getting those final little connections, that little bit more used to your teammates around you, and just fitness, and that's all it really is at this point.
Yep, it's definitely building about that chemistry. Real quick, speaking of chemistry, I see Samantha's chat in the comment. Well, folks, that's my girlfriend giving me a hard time, saying I haven't had enough drinks. Really appreciate that. Baby, already missed the Four Peaks read, so well done there. Max, okay, gosh, this is why I don't like the chat. I don't like the chat because they all gang up on me. It's a tough life out there.
It gets even worse now because your girlfriend's joining in as well. The chat already bullies you, and now we got even more.
I did tell her, like, bet you won't say anything, because she's giving me a hard time. She's sending me Snapchat screenshots.
Keep
of course, and I said, bet you won't join in next show. Well, okay, call my bluff. That's very fair. No, but it is about.
Don't say things to people that you don't want them to actually follow through on, because they will do so, man.
I don't learn. I don't learn. No, but it really is building about that team chemistry. I know you mentioned a couple guys that we want to see. Who has like solidified, you think, like, they either, I don't want to say they don't need to play in this last preseason game, but who do you think, hey, I would feel okay if they didn't play? We kind of know what we're getting for them, good or bad. I don't want to see this player feature as much, whether that's someone who's starting or that's someone who, you know, I just don't need to see more of them because maybe they're just not in that starting 11 conversation for me.
You know, someone who I'd say, actually, I think I've seen a sufficient amount of to make a good judgment on, Emil Cuello. Now, he's a guy who, and it feels a bit like mean while I'm perhaps saying I don't want to see him. No, actually, to me, he has already solidified himself in my mind as a guy who I want to see getting minutes. Maybe not as a starter, but I want him to be one of the earlier guys off the bench, because what I've seen from him and his involvement in the build-up play, his ability to kind of start those driving runs forward from the midfield and make things happen. I want to see more of him out there. I think he's had a really good preseason. So come the actual regular season, I want to see him. His position maybe in the squad as perhaps that first guy up is not something that to me is in doubt anymore. So wouldn't hugely worry me if I didn't see him play on Saturday, especially because he put in quite a lot of minutes in those games in Mexico City. He's put in quite a lot of minutes over the course of the preseason. I mean, again, I think Juan said it after the second game down there. He's probably logged up the most minutes of any player in preseason for the team. So to me, if he was to miss this preseason friendly, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Some other guys, good question here for some of these. That's tough because obviously there's a lot of guys who still I think I'd like to see get a little bit of playing time at least just to continue shaking off the rest. I don't think there's that many people who I wouldn't want to see. I'd also be quite keen, if possible, to give each goalkeeper one last half of football in the preseason because, again, look, to me, if I had to guess... Yeah, this
right? is that you're already being into the next question.
If I had to guess...
Chat, join in, please. Join in.
The performance that Rocco Rios Novo put in against Pumas Tabasco, to me, edges him ahead. He made some very, very good diving saves there. I mean, besides that, you look at some of the other stuff. It feels harsh to say that because Rakovski's been good as well.
Yeah.
I feel as though he's had a pretty solid preseason. I don't think he's really done anything wrong of any real note. So I don't know. That one to me is really up for grabs. That's really up for grabs. I still don't have any idea which way that one is going to go.
Do you have a preference on who you want?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't at this point.
We literally said like a month and a half ago, if we ran into this problem come around when the regular season is about to start, we would be thrilled. I would like the fact we have two quality goalkeepers. I love that. I love that.
We're saying here, we don't know who we want to start because we're not sure who of the two is the better one.
Yeah, not that
it's
they're
not
both
who's
not
the one
good.
that's worse than the other that we don't want playing. It's because both of them have had a pretty solid preseason. So I mean, I think it's pretty good news. I personally think it's pretty good news.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
And Juan said it's not giving him any trouble sleeping at night. Definitely having those two goalkeepers. There's no loss of sleep there. So hey,
Amen to that. Really quick, seeing Sly's comment. Will we have any Wednesday home games? Little tattoo, gem show, street corn. Man, sign me up. I'm there. But yes, looking at their schedule, they heads up for you. It's a little bit later in the season. Got two of them. Wednesday, August 30th versus Sac Republic. That's actually a really nice match, especially kind of pivotal late in the season. And then Wednesday, September 20th versus Indy 11. So both on the later
Indy
half.
11 one, of course, being the return of two notable players of PHNX Rising's past, Aiden Quinn, and of course, who else is at Indy 11?
I mean, of course, it's Mr. Solo.
Solomon Asante.
Well, and of course, Emmanuel Arteaga Revenge Game, of course, naturally.
That too.
That's of course the headliner.
See,
that's of course.
All of this he leads off with Manu, and I
didn't lead off with
Solomon Asante, maybe.
Of course, I didn't lead off with it. I was like, no, we know what the headliner is, and honestly, by then, we really hoping that's pivotal matches for Rising. Well, we talked about who we maybe think won't feature, who we don't need to feature because we already kind of know what we're hopefully getting with them. Talk about a player who is very new to the team, Mr. Mo Traore, and you happen to get a vid from head coach Juan Guerra about his arrival.
Well, I could say to you that I loved when I watched him on video. I really enjoy watching him when we played versus him, and I like him even more now that I have him with us. I see way more things that you can identify on video. If you see the way he trains, if you see how engaged and how focused he is during the video sessions, he's a great kid. He's a great kid. He's still so young, and he has huge potential. Again, another player that is very versatile and can allow us the opportunity to transform and change our shape if it's necessary without losing the identity of what we want to do. We want to be a high tempo. We want to be possession oriented. We have to make sure that we break in lines, but we also want to do all those things with a lot of athleticism, and he gives us that.
So do you view him as more of a left back then or a centre back?
Depending on the game that we're going to play. If we're going to play a game that I need him to protect the inside channels because we're going to play versus a 9 that attacks spaces and we need athleticism in the inside channels, we can use him as a center back. If we're going to play in a game where, one of our wing backs is not fully fit or cannot go, and we decide to use him in a wide area because how we like to attack from wide areas, then he can do that role as well. He can attack spaces with speed. He could put in very, very good crosses. He defends very well in 1v1 situations, and he attacks also very well in those 1v1 situations. On top of that, he's fast, he's strong, and he's technically gifted. So with those things, he could play for us anywhere in the back line, either as a center back or as a wing back, either in a line of 3, in a line of 5, or a line of 4.
Okay. All right, well, that was a long video, but I appreciate the context. What did anything you can take away, not only from what he said, but really just anything from the observation from the team?
Yeah, well, the way he put it is, look, you can tell he leads off with when I asked him about which position he's going to play, well, he's going to be a centre-back in some ways. If that's what we want to do, we'll use him as a centre-back. I mean, he's 6'3". This guy is, let's be clear, yeah. He's got the mobility to play as a wing back, which is actually really good to have in a back three.
Yet another one. It could be a tweener.
You look to what we've seen in the past out of Rising at the centre back positions, and the Joe Farrell, the James Mooses, and now you look at it and think, well, we're probably going to see Kev Lambert and Mo Traore lining up as centre backs, and you think, okay, I see some mobility.
Good freaking luck.
I see some mobility, and I like the mobility that you're getting out of them. But of course, then that's the thing. He can also play as a left back if you need it, and we did see that in Mexico. We saw him doing that because there were times where just with the nature of the injuries and the available players, that's what happened. He put in a lot of minutes of that position against Atlante. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see him on times filling in that left back position. But look, I think it's a fantastic acquisition for Rising to get a guy who's that versatile in the back line. who definitely adds a good bit in my mind for the fact, there's definitely a lot in the centre back kind of position there. And hey, I didn't see anything to concern me, given that this guy played 2 games in Mexico, while he was then, of course, known as Trialist 1 for anyone who was following along at home and wondering who on the lineup card was Trialist 1. But there was nothing to concern me. I thought he put in a relatively solid shift in both games, and to me, of course, there will be some slight things to be improved, but hey, it's preseason. It's still preseason, so there's always going to be some slight things to be improved. I personally didn't have a problem with what I saw.
No, I like it. I mean, also coming from the LAFC pedigree, I mean, granted, albeit what it is, it's nice that you see someone, even when someone's attached to that, right? We were saying the same thing with Danny Trejo, however long or not he is, like it has that weight. And especially someone with this guy has the, I guess weight doesn't really apply, but the height and the stature, literally, of whether you're pairing with Kev or another center back or he's shifting out left. We keep on saying this, especially with what we touched on earlier. You can never have enough depth, especially on the defense with extra games being played in the Open Cup and whatever that is. Like, you can never bank on all of your starters being healthy, and especially in something like defense, it just never hurts to have it. You never know what situation you're going to be in where, hey, you're up by a goal, you're holding a lead, you need to bring another guy back there, whatever it is. Like, you need capable people who can play legitimate minutes, whether it's a full 90 or spot minutes, whatever it is. I like it. I mean, the profile on him, the fact that he has that experience with the team running out as a trialist, and performed, admirably, decently in Mexico. I like that. It's all good signs to see.
Yeah, got to laugh at this one from Michael here, of course, about Vegas thinks they both still play for them. Of course, Mo Traore and Danny Trejo, both on a social media graphic they posted yesterday. Happy to confirm for any businesses in Las Vegas looking to buy the business ticket / sponsorships they were selling, that yes, the 2 players on the graphic are actually PHNX Rising players now.
Tough. Yeah, no, we don't want to mess with his partners out there in Vegas. That's a tough look for them.
Can I just say, as a graphic designer,
of course,
don't know how that happens.
Yeah. I mean,
have you met Las Vegas lights?
But I mean, like,
you got.
Have you met Las Vegas?
It's not even a graphics thing. So much had to go wrong to get to that point for the graphic designer.
Because presumably it's somebody who works for Vegas. Like, they didn't outsource it.
Yeah, I know, but they're not a graphic designer probably, because this team has like 5 staff members.
But I'm saying, all I'm saying is, if you work for the team, how are you not gonna know who's on the team, who's a part of the club? That makes no sense to me.
It's called false advertising. We don't like that. We like real advertising.
10 Vegas fans won't notice, says Pat Moses.
That's true. No, we want to keep it real, the real advertising, and that's why we love our friends at OG's Brand. That's like a transition for you. How about that? It is official. They have their new strawberries and cream Happy Balance gummies, and they are live on the shelves at a local dispensary near you. As always, you can find them by checking out ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy. And I will plug this, and I will.
I was going to say, actually, of course, last year the OGs were perhaps necessary, and this year, hopefully, not quite as necessary, but still always good to have around.
I mean, yeah. There's, some people it's necessary, some people it's a pleasure. And
celebratory.
Say it again?
Celebratory. Could be celebratory.
I like that. Occasional. There we go. I will say this, and I'll make this incredibly vague because there's more to come, but be on the lookout for a really fun announcement with us and OG's Brands in the near-term future. That's incredibly vague. That may not help you at all. I don't really care, but there you go. I'm putting it out there. It is a real thing. So yes, OG's Brands, we love them. We also love our friends at Game Time. The regular season is around the corner. I don't know if you've heard, there's like this whole new stadium. So if you don't have season tickets, or
we actually got a picture of the new stadium as well, haven't we? Should we quickly? Let's just take a look at how this is going.
Yes, we do. This is from the PHNX Rising Twitter, with a caption, "Pardon our dust." Yeah, man, there's a lot there. But
if you want to pick out your seat though out of them,
you can. I mean, yeah, also, like, man, that's kind of crazy how quickly these things go. As people talk about pop-up stadium, bam, like, you already got stands laid down, everything like that. I got to bring in the grass. But like the man said, picking your seat, head on over to Game Time. It's great for buying tickets last minute for you procrastinators, all that stuff. You save up to 60% on tickets, and the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through them. Got a link in the description, in the show notes, what have you. Check them out, especially if you don't have season tickets or whatever. But yes, game time, get your tickets, all that jazz. And because there's a lot coming around the corner with Rising. I mean, man, they weren't even, I don't even know if they were back stateside yet, and they already threw out a save the date for a week from today, March 8th, 6 p.m. at Walter Studios. And listen, we don't have any, information, but all I see is just a March 8 with a kit there. I wonder what it could be. Yes, indeed.
There's a new signing called March, and he's wearing the number 8.
I mean, can you? What if? That'd be quite the platform.
Everyone here is like, oh my god, new kit, and all of this is just Jose Bosch at PHNX Rising laughing at us. He is laughing at everyone because everyone thinks new kit, and they're just going to introduce this guy called with his last name March, wearing the number 8.
It's pretty great.
That's all it's going to be.
It's honestly a pretty great name. Also, I mean, shoot, if they're not rolling out the red carpet like they did for other signings like that, this guy, I don't know if he's on the radar because I don't know any player named Marsh, but he must be out of this world if that's the case. But hey, all we see is that Walter Studios, save the date, March 8th. I'm going to be there. This guy might be there.
Maybe.
We'll see.
No, probably not.
Listen, we'll try to come out there. If not, come talk to me. I mean, I'm sure they still be.
Unfortunately, some of us are far too busy when we're doing things like traveling to Charleston and Mexico City, and it doesn't always free up the time that you want.
Throwing me under the bus in the process, but no, come out, enjoy, and yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'll grab you a beer. And also you guys are harassing me in the chat, harass me in person. You won't. That's probably a death sentence for me right there. But yes, come out. I will
harass me in the chat. Do it. Yeah. Do it.
Tough.
The guy's asking for it. Do it.
Yeah, you won't. So March 8th, a week from the day. We saw the stadium progress all day, but that's not the only thing that was happening with PHNX Rising. We also announced a new partnership with Valley Metro. And I think that's something, right? Listen, I'm a partnership nerd. I enjoy that stuff. But in all seriousness, I think that's really cool because it allows you to get free rail fare when you have a ticket, So I love that. I think it's something where we talked about this. It's something that we expected something in this form to happen. But it just makes it accessible, especially being, right by downtown Phoenix, accessible from Tempe, everything like that. We want to get more people to the games. We've already loved the location. We already love everything about it. So I think this just makes a lot of sense for the team. But I mean, yeah, I'm curious, who's going to be riding the Metro? If anyone in the chat, if you guys are looking to take it, let us know. Maybe we'll do a ride along with you or something like that. We'll figure it out. But I think this is just great, not only for the team, but for the community. Like public transportation. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then another partnership that the team launched with Craft Culinary Concepts. Again, okay, Owen is literally in the chat. Please heckle Max.
You told people to harass you in the chat. So
no, I said they already hassle me in the chat. You can do it in person. Wait, why am I buying a beer for these people if they're hassling me?
These people beers.
I'm not buying. Okay, I need to stop promising things. Anyway, like I was saying, team launched a new partnership with Craft Culinary Concepts. Reason why we're bringing this up, the team is looking to enhance the fan game experience, right? So Primetime Grill returns. There's more points of service throughout this new stadium. And I think the big one for me, it's exclusive food and beverage discounts for season ticket members. Okay, Owen, get out of here. Max says he'll buy beers. I don't know what those discounts are going to look like, but I just think that's very cool that they are really rewarding people who are investing in the team. It's no secret. And we don't have the numbers, but it's no secret that I'm sure after the team's performance in in last season, after moving to the new stadium, they're naturally going to lose season ticket holders. This isn't breaking any news. It's just a fact of life. Yet they're also probably gaining a lot more of what they're doing. So I like that they're rewarding people, and we'll see what happens. But I just like that it feels like for the first time in a while, we are really putting an emphasis on the stadium experience and not just saying, oh yeah, it's there and whatever. Like I feel like the team is committing to that, which I'm excited about.
They're in a much better position to plan this year than they were able to hiccups. They were able to see
sorry, Max Care. Fucking Pat. Gosh darn.
But they're in a much better position in terms of dealing with things like that, dealing with concessions, than they were at the situation the way it was at the reservation.
Yeah.
It was a tough time down at Gila River. Look, things changed quite quickly there between season 1 and season 2 in that stadium. And the overriding kind of sense that I got is that they just wanted to get out. There wasn't necessarily a degree of trust that had previously been there. The trust was gone. And from there, it just gets into, how do you then get over that? How do you move on from that? And look, I feel as though, hey, it is what it is. It's not ideal, unfortunately, to be in that kind of position whereby you want out of your stadium, and especially when you can't get out of it immediately. But look, they're in a better position now. They're able to more freely work with what they're doing, with the concessions and other things experience-wise off the field. I mean, there's no more worries about the liquor license. There's no more worries.
Oh dear gosh.
There's no more worries
Seriously.
about other important things like, I mean, even when they got the liquor license, how they were selling the alcohol and that, all those problems appear to be mostly behind them. And hey, there's even talk there may actually be a sports book at some point in that stadium. But of course, until that sports book comes available, Max.
Are you... Wait. Did you just set up my
I
transition?
did set you up for one there,
It's
Max.
not as good as mine, but that's pretty nice. Not bad for not being your normal thing. But hey, yes, like Owain said, maybe they'll have a sports book at one time, but it ain't gonna be no DraftKings sports book. Baby, they got a lot of things going on. You can bet on. Well, we're not going to even talk about the FA Cup or any competitions going on in England because, who cares about those results?
Let's talk about the FA Cup.
No. I said let's not talk about the Champions League coming up.
The FA Cup. How did Spurs do today?
Spurs have championship gold in their mind, and so they're saving all their ammo for Champions League. Really, what a true winning culture does. You see this at a Man City.
Yeah, true winning cultures lose to Sheffield United. It's just how it is, isn't it, right?
I wouldn't say lose as much as conceded.
Fail to win.
I would
win.
I would say
lose. Get knocked out.
I would say conceded to more important competitions, as I'm saying, like more important competitions, the Champions League, which you can bet on.
But you're also not going to win.
We're playing. Listen, we're only down 1 goal, and we come back at home to the feared Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's go. Save for Champions League, save for Premier League, everything going on. Your favorite, MLS. Yes, I see Sly in the comments saying Leeds. Okay, they're you're with crying emojis, which is fair because they're tough. There's a lot going on in the world of soccer and everything else. I think you have some odds you're pulling up for us,
I am
right?
pulling up some odds. So again, as usual, right? We always like to be educational on this show. We like to help you understand how betting works.
This is a trap.
What we're actually going to do here, I'm just going to go through these odds now. So, right, the Champions League winners, by the way, right?
We can just
so Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay.
Tottenham Hotspur here, right? If you think that Tottenham Hotspur are going to win the Champions League, you can get them at odds of plus 2,800. So what that means, if you bet $100, you lose $100.
$2,800.
You lose $100. That's what that means.
I can't.
You bet $100, you lose $100.
You lose if you don't place the bet.
Instead, you can bet on more realistic options. I mean, Man City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid,
hipster.
Napoli are the fourth.
Actually, Napoli might be the hipster pick.
Napoli here at plus 650.
That's actually, to be fair, Napoli's actually that's great value. Wow, because
you think Napoli are a good shout for it?
I think, if you're talking about value, Man City will Man City it. Bayern, they've been shaky, and Real Madrid. Actually, honestly,
you think Napoli this time, really?
No, because Spurs.
Hang on, mate. So within the season that Argentina win the World Cup, Diego Maradona's old team in Napoli are going to win the Champions League, you think?
Well, no, because Tottenham Hotspur are going to win it. But, I think...
but if Tottenham were to not win it...
if we're playing in complete speculation of things that aren't going to happen, sure. I think Napoli actually have a very good chance to win it. I really do.
But it could be worse.
Yeah.
Hey, Devon, how did Liverpool do?
Got him. Boom. That's right.
That's why that one in. Look,
on a team even doing worse than Spurs. Hey, got him. That sucks, but... hey, you know, whether you're watching Champions League or your favorite MLS, whatever that is, you download the DraftKings Sportsbook and you use code PHNX, and new customers can bet $5. That's right, 5. Get $200 in free bets. That's 200 in free bets instantly, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And while you're placing your bets and all that stuff, better make them good bets because you don't want to be bad. Because then you'd be bad like Bad Birdie. Wow. Transition. Oh my gosh. Stop. Good job. Me. I was a pat on the back for those of you listening
Max,
on audio.
why are you congratulating yourself?
Someone's got to do it, man. Yes, but check out Bad Birdie at badbirdiegolf.com and all the great things that they have going on. Look at that fun little promo code that just slid in the screen. Use code PHNXBB15 as in what's up, BB? How you doing? Go check out Bad Birdie. Again, PHNX BB15. Owen is cringing. And get 15% off with that code at badbirdiegolf.com. They got all kinds of great swag, polos, pullovers, hats, polos. I think I said polos twice, but I don't care. They just have so much great stuff. You can look like me, yet better. I'm just gonna move past that because that's just not a good transition for me.
It's a great transition. Stick on it. Yeah, so you can look like Max, but you look better than Max.
Yeah.
There we go. Right now, moving on.
Tuffy, yes, but no. Check out badbirdiegolf.com. All that good stuff. Man, we covered a lot today. What we missed? I think you had a little something.
Yes, St. David's Day today. Actually, again, we did this last year. You weren't here, of course. It was a very different looking show at that point. We had Ramon instead, and we had Edwin. Deadwin was still with us at that time. Yeah, it's St. David's Day. It's the 1st of March, so it's the effectively the national day for Wales, really. So yeah, drink into that.
Oh, did I already? Oh, here, I got you.
It's building the tower more.
The tower's looking good. You gonna add to it?
Come on, keep talking, and I will.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
You can't toss over to me while I'm in the middle of drinking and think I'm going to add to the top.
I'm going to be honest. I thought you were already done with your beer. Yes. Well, that's all. Ooh, Sly with the tower. I don't know what that emoji is. No, Mike, there is no any good transitions. If you listen, you love my transitions, so I can come up with something. But honestly, I don't really have anything else because I think we're good.
Am I out of touch? No,
I am
the
not.
Kids who are wrong.
Yeah, all the youths.
Chat that is
it's
wrong.
the youths. The youths are cramping my style, man. I got swag. I got transitions. I got pronunciation, alliteration. I got it all, man. I got it all.
All I'm saying is if Max's transitions were on the field for PHNX Rising, I would not be predicting a playoff spot.
Damn. Well, let's transition out of that into the end of the show.
Yeah.
Oh man, sad face.
Max, I'll give you another job in a second.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, and what's that?
Add to the tower.
I'm not adding the tower.
Put it on.
You got a hand. If you're not, I'm not adding to the tower. You got a hand. Well, come on, logo out, bro. Logo out. Oh gosh, I have to do everything. I swear on my life. All right, well, appreciate y'all joining us here at PHNX Rising Podcast. This is what you guys get.
Make sure to come around, actually, though.
Yes.
Again, Saturday, 10 a.m. Come say hi.
Saturday.
We'll be there. You going to be there, Max?
Of course I'll be there.
Max is going to be there. I'm going to be there. It's going to be up at GCU, PHNX Rising against GCU, the final preseason game of 2023.
Join us. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Also, everyone complaining, like, is this what you guys get when both of us are in studio? It's what happens. Deal with it. Appreciate you guys on the reel. I hope to see you guys on Saturday. You won't see that now. They're going to totally do it. But yes, join us on Saturday.
Make sure to bully him in person as well.
You won't.
They will. You keep saying you won't. They will, Max. They will.
We'll see. You won't. Anyway, join us on Saturday. But thank you everyone for joining us in the chat again. I am Max Simpson. You can find me on Twitter at Max David Simpson. It's Mr. Owen Evans. You can find him at OJ Evans 18. Owen, any final thoughts as we leave?
The beer tower made a decent little.
You're darn right. Looking good. Build your own beer tower. See you guys next time.